All right, moving on from the East, we'll bounce over to the NFC North. Again, another division where we have the same order as far as how they'll finish.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have a different take as far as Chicago being a wild card team. I'll go ahead and open it up to you, and then I'll follow up.
Yeah, see, this division right here is similar to the NFC East in the sense that, you got two teams at the top kind of that one's good. Green Bay's good on offense. I'm not convinced on their defense. So I have Green Bay at 1. I got Chicago 2, Minnesota 3, and Detroit. But Green Bay, they're constantly good. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So that gives them a nod there at number 1. Chicago, for me, man, I would like to see, if I'm a fan of Chicago, I don't want Dalton starting a single game.
Not at all.
I want Fields starting. I want him to get those growing pains in week 1, week 2. So that way by week 3, week 4, he can develop some stability and some momentum and then just finish off the rest of the season strong. But, I'm not an NFL head coach. So,
yeah.
I'm just a fan. But if I was a fan of Chicago, I want to see Fields on the field immediately. I want to see what he can do with those weapons. I think Chicago's got a lot of good weapons on offense. Yeah. Allen Robinson is, without a doubt, in my opinion, one of the best receivers in the league. He's been plagued by mediocre quarterbacks throughout his career and still produced. Darnell Mooney, sophomore receiver. He's pretty good. I've actually watched some of his film. I watched some last year in game day because I had Robinson on fantasy. So, watching their games, I just kind of saw Mooney. And the dude can run routes. I mean, he's a route running fool. He gets in and out of those routes super quick. He puts dudes on skates like nobody. So he's a terrific second receiver. And then Montgomery, I mean, everyone knows what Montgomery did towards the end of last year. The offensive line finally got a little continuity, and Montgomery went on a tear. He was averaging 20-plus fantasy points a game. And, that translates generally into game day production, or vice versa. Game day production translates into fantasy points. One way or the other, though, the dude killed it. So they've got a pretty decent offense there with Fields. I think they could catch up to Green Bay offensive talent-wise. And their defense, with Khalil Mack and a few of those other anchors there, I believe that their defense is good. So I have them in second. Minnesota, they're kind of average to me. Kirk Cousins, has proven he's not capable of winning the big games or against he plays to the competition, in my opinion. And he can't beat the good teams. When he's going against those stellar defenses, he can't beat them. And it's sad, too, because Minnesota has good talent at the receiver position. They have a good running back. I like Zimmer as a coach. I just don't think Cousins is the one that put him over the hump. And then with Detroit, well, they're in rebuild. And we'll see what we can get out of it. They got Goff.
They're always in rebuild.
Huh?
They're always in rebuild mode.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Goff now. Their best receiver is T.J. Hawkinson, Tyrone Williams.
That's my keeper in the 11th round, T.J. Hawkinson. Hey,
I like Hawk. I like Hawk big time. But the thing is, he's their best receiver, so I feel like he might lose a little production this year because, defenses may key on him a little bit more. They brought in Tyrone Williams as our wide receiver 1 this year. He's a journeyman receiver, so, you combine him with now probably Goff, who's going to be a journeyman quarterback when his career is all said and done. And the best thing they got going for them right now, in my opinion, is Swift in the backfield. If he can get on the field, their coach recently has mentioned his conditioning, which is a head scratcher to me. And then I like Amon-Ra St. Brown, their rookie receiver. And I think he's going to be phenomenal. I think by the end of the year, he will be their wide receiver 1.
Yeah. Yeah. I when it comes to Detroit, I think I agree with everything you said. They obviously
They're cursed.
They're cursed. They're in rebuild mode. Obviously, they made the trade and gave up Matthew Stafford and got Goff in return and those draft picks.
Yeah.
I think honestly, what's going to be the most value for them is those draft picks. I don't think Jared Goff is that guy, and if he was, then the Rams wouldn't have got rid of him. They would have held on to him. So I agree with you, DeAndre Swift. If he gets on the field, he can be. We want to talk about fantasy for a minute. He can be one of those fantasy producers that's kind of not a household name for the most part, but he can put up numbers every week because of his catching ability, things like that.
Yeah.
But again, I don't see them competing really in this division at all. I think they're going to struggle to be competitive in most games, to be honest with you.
They're going to be pushing for the number 1 pick this year.
Yeah, I think they're going to be in the running for most of the season. And then if we go back to the top, obviously Green Bay is the best team in this division. Coming off of 2 NFC championship games in a row, 2 13-3 seasons. I don't see them having only 3 losses this year. I think they come back down to earth a little bit. I don't see them going 13-4 or 14-3, anything like that. Maybe 12 wins, somewhere in there. Aaron Rodgers is going to be on a mission, of course, to stick it to him even more. So he's going to be playing lights out. They've got a lot of weapons. They brought back, one of his favorite receivers, Randall Cobb. They've got Aaron Jones in the backfield. So they're obviously going to be a strong team. Their defense was pretty close to top 10 last year. We'll see if they've improved at all. Green Bay is one of those teams when it comes to defense, it's kind of luck of the draw. You never know what you're going to get with them. But again, I don't see Chicago or Minnesota, pressing them for this division at all. I think that this is a big if Justin Fields hits the field before week 5, I think that Chicago makes the playoffs. So that's why I have them as a wild card. I think he just adds that extra dimension to their offense that would unlock even more of Allen Robinson and Montgomery and things of that nature. He brings a little more dynamic, obviously a more dynamic offense to the field. Of course, if you watch that hit that he took in the preseason where his helmet got knocked off on the blindside hit where the defender came in unblocked.
Yeah.
He's got to get better at reading, defenses and picking up on things. So I can see why they're going with Dalton to start the season. That hit right there could have put him out for a few weeks if that's regular season and he gets a concussion or something. So he's still got some growing to do, some learning, and learn how to read things. But I think that he's coming along at a fast pace, and eventually Chicago goes to him, and they end up making the playoffs as a wild card team. I agree with you when it comes to Minnesota. Kirk Cousins has shown what his ceiling is. He's just not a leader of a football team. Like he's
Derek Carr to me.
Quarterback. He's in that Derek Carr level. I would say probably Derek Carr's more of a leader. I think that the Raiders probably follow Derek Carr more than the Vikings follow Kirk Cousins. Just because I think talent-wise they're probably about even. But as far as the leadership skills, I think that Derek Carr is more of a leader. Now that obviously hasn't translated to wins for him either, other than maybe one season. But I think you're right. He's kind of in that same realm right there with Derek Carr. He's just not the guy that's going to put you over the top. Like you pretty much need everything else around him to be perfect for him to succeed. And that's just been the story with Minnesota lately. Unfortunately, is they've kind of hit this wall where they thought they were getting something that they didn't get. They paid a lot of money for Kirk Cousins to come in, and they have basically finished exactly where they finished with oh gosh, what was his name? The quarterback that took Case Keenum. They finished basically exactly where they have with Case Keenum. He actually took them to the NFC Championship game off of the Miracle, the Minneapolis Miracle. And since then, I don't think they've gone to the second round of the playoffs. So I don't think they've won a playoff game since then. Maybe one. So
yeah.
So
I agree. Derek Carr is certainly a better leader. I think talent-wise, at this point in their career, they are similar. But I don't want to forget the fact that Carr, at one point in his career, was an MVP candidate and was playing really good football.
He definitely was before he broke his leg that year. Yeah, he was kind of like Carson Wentz the year that he got hurt. He was leading a surprise team. They were having a hell of a season and then ended up getting hurt. Unfortunately for the Raiders, they didn't have a Nick Foles to step in, and they got torched in the playoffs. So, but yeah, he was having an MVP type season before he got hurt. And that's something about Kirk Cousins I don't think that we've ever been able to say is that he is in the MVP conversation or he was having an MVP type season at any point in his career. He's had maybe 3 or 4 game stints where he's played like an MVP, but he hasn't been able to put it together for a full season or even more than a quarter of a season.
Yeah, the biggest media story ever surrounding Kirk Cousins was the fact that he couldn't beat a team over 500.
Yeah, that and the you like that video.
I had a pigeon flying in my window.
That's hilarious. So even he doesn't like the Vikings. So